As we look ahead to the next piece of this, one of the threads that I imagine the committee will pull on has to do with then Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. I want to point out, we heard from somebody who's very close to Meadows, Cassidy Hutchinson, and if my memory serves, I think it is the first time we have seen her on camera in these depositions. She is somebody who has reportedly spoken extensively with the January 6th Select Committee. And Mark Meadows here, as Adam Schiff has previewed, it is likely, Frank, that we will see some new evidence relating to Meadows and this plot in Georgia, if you will, his involvement there. Frank?
Right, and I can't help but notice that this is all looking increasingly like a kind of criminal enterprise. Trump at the head, almost a capo of an organized crime family. People like Meadows, people like Giuliani, people like certain members of Congress that we've mentioned, carrying out the acts, getting their hands dirty. And as we see more and more of that, it's going to increasingly look to me like a criminal enterprise. And that, to that effect, it actually helps us project what accountability might look like. Because to make the mob analogy, prosecutors and investigators, as Joyce alluded to, in those such cases, will try to make the case first on the henchmen, the capos, the consiglieres, the captains, and then rely on them either flipping or some further evidence developed to get to the capo himself. So don't be surprised if we see that kind of approach being taken, and don't rule out the possibility that those very individuals would be charged for their role in this, certainly first, and then later, if ever, you get to the capo.
And
top of the night. Top of the night. Whatever time zone you are on, we are live. Top of the night. Whatever time zone you are on, we are live. Top of the night. Whatever time zone we're on, we are live. Right. Okay, my third party device is turned down in the background. Okay. Before I do the moments of silence, whatever. For that food y'all be pulling. Now, nobody have lost their lives, and I'm going to slow myself down intentionally. Okay, title. You see the title. Let's remember this. If we can look up, we can get up. If we can get up, we can go up. Come back in real time. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's get it. Let's go. Let's go to work. People know where I am. Let me be real clear. Trump needs to be in prison. So I'm not going to my words about it. I'm not making it, and I'm not going to punt games. Having said that, let's go to work.
Brooklyn, Uptown, Harlem, hey. How can I explain myself? Yeah. What y'all know about this? Yo. See, this is X Factor. He took the sample. My shit is plastic. Here's an example of how we slice it up on the rhythm. So many wanna slice it up on the rhythm. See, this is X Factor. We took the sample. My shit is plastic. Here's an example of how we slice it up on the rhythm. So many wanna slice it up on the rhythm. Listen up, I'm only here till another. Got the plane so I can go and another. Ripped up jeans and a Balenciaga mama. With dreads and who like to sing stuff a Latina. I'm in the short natural like a Lola Falana. Birth true lions, code name like Latana. Preacher girl, I got a headgear from Guatemala. With no bars like my back, now I live on thunder. The line can say what is what fashion, we go bananas. What fashion, we go bananas. What fashion, we go bananas. I think original, I heard the paradigm. Call me the red tank, call me the mastermind. See how I slice it up on this rhythm. So many wanna slice it up on this rhythm. I think original, I heard the paradigm. So many, the rhythm. See how we slice it up on the rhythm. Slice it up, yeah. So stop acting like you didn't grow up singing my songs. I stood down on the streets like I had wings on my arms. Transcendent, speak truth like I wrote the amendments. Sorry if you're offended, it's the truth in the veins. Birds, bees, and trees will probably tell you the same. Mention my name is the same, they like to the brain. How she should do the thing, how she should raise the plane. Conquer before we came, we conquer before we came. Emojis in all flames. And the game was never the same. And the game was never the same. And I'm thinking original, I've heard the paradigm. Call me the red tape, call me the master. See how we slice it up on this rhythm. So many wanna slice it up on this rhythm. See, this is X Factor, he took the sample. My shit is classic, here's an example of how we slice it up on this rhythm. So many wanna slice it up on this rhythm. See, this is X Factor, he took the sample. My shit is classic, here's an example of how we slice it up on this rhythm. So many wanna slice it up on this rhythm. Now this is X Factor, he took the sample. This shit is classic, here's an example of how we slice it up on this rhythm. Wanna slice it up on this rhythm. Do-do-do-do-do. See how we slice it up on this rhythm. So many wanna. Yo, this is X Factor, he took the sample. My shit is classic, here's an example of how we slice it up on this rhythm. So many slice it up on this rhythm. God bless you guys tonight. Thank you so much. Peace to drinks,
Brooklyn, Uptown, Harlem. Hey.
Explain myself.
All right. Lauren Hill. Lady like no other. So let's get into this. I'm going to be very clear on my stance on July and his supporters. Provide. Do this real quick. Excuse me, I need to go ahead and pin my hair up. There we go. Now work. I'm going to be real clear about Trump. I'm not going to mix the cake and play games. You either will stand on the truth and nothing but the truth, or you're going to pledge your allegiance to political parties. I pledge my allegiance to the truth and nothing but the truth. Let me say it again. I pledge my allegiance to the truth and nothing but the truth. You either gonna pledge your allegiance to parties, people, things, and stuff, and images, and idols, or pledge your allegiance to the truth, integrity, righteousness, and stability. Now, to the Donald Trump supporters, some crooks and some liars. It's in the title. And it supported birds of a feather, cliche, flow together. However, that's not always the truth. You usually have some opposites in the group. Okay. Didn't load the one I'm going to do, and I'll show it later on this evening as well. Right here. That's what I'm going to get to. That was so to so again, I don't care if it's white, pink, or purple, and 9 out of 10 times, criminal or thief too lies that still that you've been rocking with. That's what you now hear. Rico. And that happened. Trump supporters don't like it. Here, who don't like it? But I stand on the truth and righteousness. And having said that, in the background and fans and stuff. So if you hear interference, it's going to be that way tonight. Let me say it again. By the way, disclaimer, I have air going in the background and stuff. If you hear it, that's the way it's going to be this morning or night or whatever zone you are on. All right, so let's get to the truth. Let's get to this truth.
Well, I know the events that we're here to talk about today are incredibly difficult to relive. Your proud service as an election worker took a dramatic turn on the day that Rudy Giuliani publicized a video of you and your mother counting ballots on election night. President Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and others claimed on the basis of this video that you and your mother were somehow involved in a plot to kick out observers, bring suitcases of false ballots for Biden into the arena, and then run them through the machines multiple times. None of that was true, was it?
None of it.
Hey, Jan.
I'd like to show you some of the statements that Rudy Giuliani made in a second hearing before the Georgia state legislators, a week after that video clip from State Farm Arena was first circulated by Mr. Giuliani and President Trump. I want to advise viewers that these statements are completely false and also deeply disturbing.
Tape earlier in the day of Ruby Freeman and Shay Freeman Moss and one other gentleman quite obviously surreptitiously passing around USB ports as if they're vials of heroin or cocaine. I mean, it's obvious to anyone who's a criminal investigator or prosecutor, they are engaged in surreptitious illegal activity again that day. And that's a week ago, and they're still walking around Georgia lying. They should have been questioned already. Their places of work, their homes should have been searched for evidence of ballots, for evidence of USB ports, for evidence of voter fraud.
That video was from Rudy Giuliani's appearance at a Georgia State Senate hearing on December 10. How did you first become aware that Rudy Giuliani, the president's lawyer, was accusing you and your mother of a crime?
I was at work, like always, and the former chief, Mr. Jones, asked me to come to his office. And when I went to his office, the former director, Mr. Barron, was in there, and they showed me a video on their computer. It was just like a very short clip of us working at State Farm, and it had someone on the video like talking over the video, just saying that we were doing things that we weren't supposed to do, just lying throughout the video. And that's when I first found out about it.
And were there social media posts that they showed you responding to those false claims?
Well, when I saw the video, of course, the first thing that I said was like, why? Why are they doing this? What's going on? And they, just told me that Trump and his allies were not satisfied with the outcome of the election, and they were getting a lot of threats and being harassed online, and asked me, have I been receiving anything, and I need to check on my mom. And I told them, I was like, where have they, where have you been getting these threats? I don't believe I have any. And Mr. Jones told me, like, they're attacking his Facebook, and I don't really use Facebook. I have one, so I went to the Facebook app, and I'm just kind of panicky at this point because this has never happened to me, and my mom is involved, and I'm like her only child. So I'm just asking him, like, well, where are the messages? All I see is the feeds. Like, how do you get to the messages? And he said, it's another icon on your phone that says Messenger. And I went to that icon, and it was just a lot of horrible things there.
And those horrible things, did they include threats?
Yes, a lot of threats, wishing death upon me, telling me that, I'll be in jail with my mother, and saying things like, be glad it's 2020 and not 1920.
Were a lot of these threats and vile comments racist in nature?
A lot of them were racist. A lot of them were just hateful. Yes, sir.
In one of the videos we just watched, Mr. Giuliani accused you and your mother of passing some sort of USB drive to each other. What was your mom actually handing you on that video?
A ginger mint.
It wasn't just Rudy Giuliani. We heard President Trump make these false allegations repeatedly during his call with Secretary Raffensperger. Let's listen to a portion of what he had to say about you and your mother.
We had at least 18,000, that's on tape. We had them counted very painstakingly, 18,000 voters having to do with Ruby Freeman. She's a vote scammer, a professional vote scammer and hustler.
Donald Trump attacked you and your mother using her name 18 times on that call. 18 times. Ms. Moss, can you describe what you experienced listening to former President Trump attack you and your mother in a call with the Georgia Secretary of State?
I felt horrible. I felt like it was all my fault. Like, if I would have never decided to be an elections worker, like, I could have done anything else, but that's what I decided to do. And now people are lying and spreading rumors and lies and attacking my mom. I'm her only child. Going to my grandmother's house. I'm her only grandchild. And my kid. It's just, I felt so bad. I just felt bad for my mom, and I felt horrible for picking this job and being the one that always wants to help and always there, and never missing out one election. I just felt like it was my fault for putting my family in this situation.
Well, it wasn't your fault. Your mother was kind enough to come speak with us earlier. Let's listen to her story in her words.
My name is Ruby Freeman. I've always believed that when God says that he'll make your name great, but this is not the way it was supposed to be. I could have never imagined the events that followed the presidential election 2020. For my entire professional life, I was Lady Ruby. My community in Georgia, where I was born and lived my whole life, knew me as Lady Ruby. I built my own business around that name, La Ruby's Unique Treasures, a pop-up shop catering to ladies with unique fashions. I wore a shirt that proudly proclaimed that I was, and I am, Lady Ruby. Actually, I had that shirt on. I had that shirt in every color. I wore that shirt on Election Day 2020. I haven't worn it since, and I'll never wear it again. Now I won't even introduce myself by my name anymore. I get nervous when I bump into someone I know in the grocery store who says my name. I'm worried about who's listening. I get nervous when I have to give my name for food orders. I'm always concerned of who's around me. I've lost my name, and I've lost my reputation. I've lost my sense of security, all because a group of people, starting with number 45 and his ally, Rudy Giuliani, decided to scapegoat me and my daughter, Shay, to push their own lies about how the presidential election was stolen.
Ms. Moss, how has this experience of being targeted by the former president and his allies affected your life?
It's turned my life upside down. I no longer give out my business card. I don't transfer calls. I don't want anyone knowing my name. I don't want to go anywhere with my mom because she might yell my name out over the grocery aisle or something. I don't go to the grocery store at all. I haven't been anywhere. at all. I've gained about 60 pounds. I just don't do nothing anymore. I don't want to go anywhere. I second guess everything that I do. It's affecting my life in a major way, in every way. All because of lies. For me doing my job, same thing I've been doing forever.
Your mother also told the Select Committee about how she had to leave her own home for her safety and go into hiding after the FBI told her that it would not be safe for her there before January 6th and until the inauguration. Let's listen to a clip of her story in her own words.
Around the week of January 6th, the FBI informed me that I needed to leave my home for safety. And I left my home for safety around that time.
Understood. How long did you stay out? Did you, remain outside of your home for your own safety?
I stayed away from my home for approximately 2 months. It was horrible. I felt homeless. I felt, I can't believe this person has caused this much damage to me and my family. To have to leave my home, that I've lived there for 21 years. And, I'm having to have my neighbors watch out for me, and I have to go and stay with somebody. It was hard. It was horrible.
And that your conversation with the FBI about needing to leave your home for your own safety, or perhaps recommending it, do you remember, was there a specific threat that prompted that, or was it the accumulation of threats that you had received?
What prompted it was getting ready to, January 6th was about to come, and they did not want me to be at home because of all the threats and everything that I had gotten. They didn't want me to be there in fear of, the people were coming to my home, and I had a lot of that, so they didn't want me to be there. Just in case something happened, I asked, how long am I going to have to be at home? And they said, at least until the inauguration.
Ms. Moss, I understand that people once showed up at your grandmother's house. Tell us about that experience.
I received a call from my grandmother. This woman is my everything. I've never even heard her or seen her cry ever in my life. And she called me screaming at the top of her lungs, like, Shay, oh my God, Shay, just freaking me out, saying that there were people at her home, and they, they knocked on the door, and of course she opened it and seeing who was there, who it was, and they just started pushing their way through, claiming that they were coming in to make a citizen's arrest. They needed to find me and my mom. They knew we were there. And she was just screaming and didn't know what to do. And I wasn't there, so, I just felt so helpless and so horrible for her. And she was just screaming. I told her to close the door. Don't open the door for anyone. And, she's a 70-something, I won't say, year-old woman, and she doesn't like having restrictions. She wants to answer the door. She likes to get her steps in, walking around the neighborhood, and I had to tell her, like, you can't do that. You have to be safe. She would tell me that at night, people would just continuously send pizzas over and over to her home, and they were expecting her to pay for these large amounts of pizzas, and she went through a lot that she didn't have to, And once again, it made me just feel so horrible.
Well, I know the events that we're here to talk about today are incredibly difficult to relive. Your proud service as an election worker took a dramatic turn on the day that Rudy Giuliani publicized a video of you and your mother counting ballots on election night. President Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and others claimed on the basis of this video that you and your mother were somehow involved in a plot to kick out observers, bring suitcases of false ballots for Biden into the arena, and then run them through the machines multiple times. None of that was true, was it?
None of it.
I'd like to show you some of the statements that Rudy Giuliani made in a second hearing before the Georgia state legislators, a week after that video clip from State Farm Arena was first circulated by Mr. Giuliani and President Trump. I want to advise viewers that these statements are completely false and also deeply disturbing.
Tape earlier in the day of Ruby Freeman and Shay Freeman Moss and one other gentleman quite obviously surreptitiously passing around USB ports as if they're vials of heroin or cocaine. I mean, it's obvious to anyone who's a criminal investigator or prosecutor, they are engaged in surreptitious illegal activity again that day. And that's a week ago, and they're still walking around Georgia lying. They should have been questioned already. Their places of work, their homes should have been searched for evidence of ballots, for evidence of USB ports, for evidence of voter fraud.
That video was from Rudy Giuliani's appearance at a Georgia State Senate hearing on December 10. How did you first become aware that Rudy Giuliani, President?
All right, now. Stroke back up. So I'm definitely gonna pin this. There we go. Let's get to it. Now, we ended up on Rudy Giuliani lying. And that goes back towards the beginning of the clip, of the video footage. So you saw the introduction again with him telling lies. Okay, let me make sure my third part turned down. Now, this was not funny. This was not cute. By the way, let me make it clear and plain. Criminal investigation. Criminal. I mentioned years back that eventually they would get Donald Trump for RICO. Now, what are they floating around years later? Possible criminal enterprise. There should be absolutely, positively no way he should not end up in prison. Period. Period. And for the people who do it for love the nation, because they love the nation. Let me make sure I'm in quick. Do it for love the nation, because they love the nation. Okay. Hold on for a minute. These headphones together. This is. I'm untangling these hairs. And I'm going to put them back in. Excuse one. And I'm getting my hair back up. Get that away. Okay. So there we go. We should be ready to rock and roll. This was not cute. This was not funny. He's a crook. He's a criminal. Let me get back to this post on too. I 100% approve and agree with this message. It's a shame. It's a downright shameful. Lies, a bunch of liars, lying wonders, crooks, thieves, criminal-minded. Let me pull it back. Criminals, criminal-minded. No intent. Intent is there. Willful intent is there. Intentionally culpable. When you do things done out of negligence, gross negligence, and culpable also includes intent, direct intent. Things done intentionally, done directly, and intentionally. Things done on purpose. They harassed her. She's not working that job anymore. She's living in fear, which is unfortunate. Her mom is living in fear. Their name was slammed lawsuit. That's a defamation lawsuit. That's a defamation lawsuit. She need to turn around and sue Rudy Giuliani, Trump, and all the rest of them who ran with that dumb stuff that defamed their name. That's a defamation lawsuit. When you post lies on third-party platforms, when you post lies on third-party platforms that defame a person that are not truth, that's a defamation lawsuit. Most people don't follow through on it because they don't comprehend it, or they just think it'll go away, or they don't want to take it that far. Business is business, right? Let's work is work, right? Her mother lost her livelihood. Both of them lost their livelihood. Grand lives. Therefore, they had every right to themselves. Came to her home, talked to the rest on their property. Let me pull it back again. They lost their livelihoods. So for us, real quick, so all of the African American, all of the Trump supporting American people, this what you support. Let me make clear. Let me call you what you are. Yeah, some sand bowls. Let me back and say it again. Some sand bowls. Master told us he wasn't a criminal. Master told us he wasn't a crook. Master making us wealthy or giving us a few little crumbs. Master and his crony through little crumbs. They throwing us a couple of dollars. Therefore, sold and become a, because deceived you into thinking you ain't intelligent enough. It's nothing. His or her. Which the truth, or acknowledge the truth, or recognize. Whoo! For the American, the judges and Lord, right now, Republic, that judge is what bought and paid for. He a doggone Sambo. For the other people in the other ethnic groups, just for everybody now, it should not have taken this for anybody to realize that Donald Trump was a crook. Excuse me. What did he do for the United States? Well, let me tell you, because we've already had this live stream before, but apparently I need to refresh some people's memory. He stripped the Environmental Protection Agency. He stripped the CDC. He came in and repealed the quality of water, the quality of air, the quality of food. Anything that was regulated and it was supposed to be oversight on, he came in and repealed it. But let's backtrack. Let's go prior. His father not renting to Black people. What did that tell you? Should have got a clue in. Now, let's fast forward up some. Him not paying his workers for all the bankruptcy that his businesses filed. Oh, I understand you protect the person, right? LLC, you protect the person and you let them come after the corporation. All the workers he didn't pay. Fake Trump University. What is your real estate degree worth? I drink some water on this. Make sure that with water. Fake University. He had a history in a behavior set. You out the bush today? Yeah. Yeah. Tax evade. That was on record. Fake Trump University. That's on record. All those that filed bankruptcy, so he would not pay his employees. That's on record. So he wouldn't be liable for playing record. No United States a point in time in this U.S. history would lend to him. He had to go back. Because of his What did that tell you? But some people like cancer-causing agent in their water, because when he did the repeal, he allowed those big companies to put cancer-causing agents back into the water. Let me be very clear about that, because I'm from Michigan and I don't play that water game. You better understand. We know about the quality of water here because of that man-made tobacco Rick Snyder did. We know about Legionnaire's disease here. Yeah. Quality of air. That was his record. He didn't give a rat's rump about nobody. And apparently the supporters, you supporters don't either. You don't care about nobody but your little selfish selves. And as far as I'm concerned, they can all put y'all in the same ship my ancestors was on and put you right out in the same oceans. And if you survive, you survive. If you don't, you don't. Oh, well, say rah, say rah. That's the way I feel about it. Be clear about that. You supporting the idol in the image. You ain't supporting the truth. My allegiance is to the truth and nothing but the truth. Period. Just not. Period. End of story. End of sentence. Now, all right. Say lie. Having said that, I'll be back later on in the evening and we'll finish this up. This is day 4. More evidence is to come. Over 8,000 people have been interviewed. This is being called one of the largest criminal investigations in the United States of America. Oh, only if the U.S. would do every investigation and methodically. And agilely, bit by bit, part by part, section by section, we would know a lot of things. How many days at where Kenneka Jenkins, what happened to not your job solved or unsolved. We would know a lot of things. As meticulously there this and his friends and supporters. And said that you all have a pleasant evening and a pleasant night, and I expect that YouTube will play with my views as their little robots, machines will play with the views like they've been doing for the last few times. But it is my responsibility to collect my own evidence and let the record show. So, having said that, you all have a pleasant evening and a pleasant, what Jen says, I approve that message 100%. It stands, period. Stay safe, stay vigilant, stay actively engaged, and don't everybody